depression in one form or another as a necessity of the soul for its downward and inwardness, and for the discovery of gods that are not present in other places. What the Greeks called Hades, who is also another name for him, was Pluto. Now, Hades was invisible, so you couldn't, that's one of the reasons you can never see through your depression. You can never see why you have it, because if Hades is behind it, you can't see him. It's impossible to recognize what it is. And Pluto, the other name for Hades, means riches. And one of the reasons they said the souls never came back from the dead or from the underworld was that conversations with Hades were so interesting that no soul ever wanted to leave the underworld, suggesting that there is a depth of reason, a depth of images, a depth of fantasy there that you may only get to through depression.
I'm still here in this bed that I crawled in. I hope that I'm someone else in the morning. So take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine. Then walk around in the floating chalk outline.
That's why it is so important not to resurrect the old ego, but to resurrect the old traditions. The animal images for depression, the images of different heroic figures who went down, the images of female figures. So they had a wealth of understanding of the states of the soul that we have eliminated in our scientific approach, as if it had to do with only with physiological or glandular or neurochemical or constitutional factors.
Getting off of the benzodiazepine, that to me was a real shocker, because first of all, I had no idea that you were taking it, and then to find out that it's that difficult to get off of, and then to hear from other people that have tried to get off of it how difficult it is, and then to realize how many people around me have an issue with that stuff.
Oh my, I seem to feel so much better when it kicks in. Chemical kitchen, feel my brain destruct. Oh, diazepam me, turn that volume down on my demons and he give me relief just for a second and he make it all so numb.
And this latest thing with getting off of the benzodiazepine, that to me was a real shocker. Because first of all, I had no idea that you were taking it, and then to find out that it's that difficult to get off of, and then to hear from other people that have tried to get off of it how difficult it is, and then to realize how many people around me have an issue with that stuff. Xanax is a motherfucker. And I didn't know what a motherfucker it was until I talked to a friend who is a counselor at a drug rehab center, where he was saying that that is one of the ways that people get locked back into drinking and doing drugs, is a psychiatrist will prescribe Xanax. And sober people who get on Xanax all of a sudden start drinking. He said it's super common. He said that it's one of the most difficult drugs to get off of. He said, and this is something that Dr. Carl Hart, who's I love him to death. He's brilliant. He speaks so openly and honestly about drugs, and you know, the guy's a professor at Columbia. He said that there's two drugs that will kill you when you get off of them. He goes, it's alcohol and benzodiazepine. Those are the two that if you just quit, you'll fucking die. And
or you wish.
Oh, why diazepam do you make me feel like everything's not dissolving? Spinning doors are evolving. Swallow a tablet, I'm overindulging. I've tried diazepam to be the optimist and resist cards folding. You're the crutch that I'm holding. Don't want tomorrow, cause right now I'm golden.
Or you wish you would.
Meanwhile, they're handing those things out like Tic Tacs.
Yeah. Well, they were regarded as a safe substitute for barbiturates. And you could easily overdose on barbiturates, especially with alcohol.
Well, when did they know? When was it in the literature, the difficulty of detoxing yourself from these?
Very recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And when did they start being handed out?
20 years ago.
Fuck.
More.
So what happened? People just stayed on them?
Often.
I have one good friend that takes it every day and takes it oftentimes with alcohol, which I know you're absolutely not supposed to do. There's not a damn thing I can do about it. This is a friend that I love to death, and I put my hands up and I go, there's nothing I can do. And he's been on it for more than 10 years.
Yeah, well, I started taking them because I was ill.
Yeah.
And they helped because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep
way?
at all. I don't know. I still really don't know what happened.
When you leave, why can't I breathe like you've stolen my very essence, my coding? Went for a swim and then drowned in your ocean. Don't lie, diazepam. You promised me the world, but now I'm rotting and molding. In my face it feels swollen. Anesthetic, I block that emotion.
It appeared in some sense that the reason I was ill was because I was taking benzodiazepines. But that isn't why. I was ill and then I took them, and very low dose, and I took that for a long time, and it helped whatever was wrong with me. And it looks like it was an allergy or maybe multiple allergies. And then that stopped working, and so I took a little bit more for about a month, and that made it way worse. And so then I cut back a lot, and then things really got out of hand. And so
there was a deeper thing.
Oh yeah,
in the
definitely.
benzo.
Oh yeah.
What can you put words to?
Well, I had a lot of my daughter, as everyone knows, has a very reactive immune system, and Tammy has 3 immunological conditions, each of them quite serious. And I had psoriasis and peripheral uveitis, which is an autoimmune condition, and alopecia areata, and chronic gum disease, all of which appeared to be allergy related. And so Michaela seems to have got all of that. And so that I think was at the bottom of, because I also had this proclivity to depression that was part of my family history. But I think that was all immunological as far as I can tell. So one of the things that's happened to me, I always noticed I really couldn't breathe. Like I could breathe about 1/5 as much as I sometimes could.
When you leave, why can't I breathe like you've stolen my very essence, my coding? Went for a swim and then drowned in your ocean. Don't lie, diazepam.
And so I was always short of breath, and it looks like what that was perhaps was I was always on the border of an anaphylactic reaction, which is not pleasant. And that's hypersympathetic activation, no parasympathetic activation. I couldn't relax at all.
That's an immunological response.
Allergic response, yeah.
Synesthetic dreaming, I'm carried away. Anesthetic bleeding, a place for the pain. Self-destructive healing is one and the same. Oh, diazepam. Synesthetic dreaming, I'm carried away. Anesthetic bleeding, a place for the pain. Self-destructive healing is one and the same. Don't lie, diazepam. Synesthetic dreaming, I'm carried away. Anesthetic bleeding, a place for the pain. Self-destructive healing is one and the same.
These are not only my moods. And I think psychiatry again, or therapy again, misses some of that. So you put into a terrible room, in a ward or a clinic or somewhere, but you're cut off from the mood of the world. Then all that mood becomes yours. Whereas you may need a landscape to place your mood and to have response from the world to that mood, to share the mood with. Fundamentally, everything is inexplicable. It doesn't matter what you go into. If you go into it deeply enough, you realize there is no answer, because you come to the end of reason. Probably melancholia gives you the feeling of coming to the end of reason. It affects the feeling level. It isn't merely that your mind can no longer understand what's happening to you, but you have the feeling that there is no way you can go on, and that reason itself has come to a stop, or as they say, time itself comes to a stop, or the mind at the end of its tether. That's its importance, though, that it stops the mind's inflation, that it can understand everything or come to grips with anything.
It's such a perfect day, take it just in case, take it just in case. I'm scared of being okay, 'cause all things change, all things change. It's such a perfect day, it's a beautiful shade, it's a beautiful shade. I'm scared of being okay, 'cause all things change. But little by little, bit by bit, I'll push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.